Hey, Bottom Nation. An interesting one this week. First of all, this is just a great episode. My buddy Sam is on. He talks about giving underwater blowjobs. And my friend Lucas is on, and he talks about his first gay thoughts and what he's doing about them. So it's just really, really funny. But for my segment this week, I talk about what happened to me over the summer with the internet cancellation, the fallout from that, and more importantly, I think, what actually happened in that room, because I know a lot of you had a lot of questions, and I think you'll understand why I waited so long to talk about it. If you want a deeper dive on what actually happened, I think head over to the Chosen Family podcast episode from last week. It does a really, really good job kind of analyzing every detail. And on this podcast, we spend about 20 minutes talking about it from the comedian's perspective. It's all comedians on the pod this week, so it kind of gives you a slightly different point of view. And the reason I'm doing this, I know how bored people can get of a subject that doesn't really have anything to do with them. But it's interesting because I can't separate you guys from it. And it's been really hard for me to move on emotionally without telling the full story. I need you guys to really know who I am. And I know so many of you do know who I am, and you've stuck by me. And I've seen those messages. I've read those comments. It means the world to me. Like, I cannot tell you how grateful I am for you. And for those of you coming back and realizing that it was not as it seemed, thank you so much for being open-minded and listening and giving me a chance. But ultimately, I want to move forward. And after months of thinking about it, this is the only way that I know how to do that, so that it's out in the open and I can continue to just be a comedian and has my words taken as a comedian. I love this community so much. And to me, the community that this podcast has built is as important to me as the podcast itself. That's not something that I knew would happen when I started this podcast. I know so many of you have, you know what? Listen to the episode. Have a great week, guys. Listener, this episode is brought to you by Green Chef. Now, if you know me, you know that I am super busy, which is why Green Chef is my favorite meal kit. Okay? I can cook up something delicious in just a few minutes. Even when I'm coming home from the road, I've got a kit there waiting for me, and I can make something vegetarian. That's what I am for me and my girlie Jen, and it's absolutely delicious. For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code GAY250 at greenchef.com/gay250. Let me read that for you one more time. $250 off with code GAY250 at greenchef.com/gay250. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
I learned how to suck a dick underwater from a professional fisherman.
A professional fisherman? Why does he know how to suck a dick underwater? He's not a fish.
It's so funny. I didn't realize
that. He kills fish. He should be the last guy on earth that knows anything about sucking dick.
It's like this mansion, and you go in, and on the outside, everyone's just socializing. It's like old gay men. So they're legitimately just talking about florals, and then you go into the pool, and the pool is the orgy.
Was it float? Does spunk float?
Why are you looking at me?
Whoa, Ashley, calm down. Never seen that anger from you, except for never mind.
I really love the way that you've spread open your asshole on my face, by the way.
I'm sitting on your face as well as anyone can, which is crouched.
I love a good, honestly though,
I'm teabagging you.
Do you ever have girls sit on your face?
Yeah, I like that.
I love that.
I don't like the direction this podcast is going immediately.
Go back to the other direction.
Ashley and I do fall pretty susceptible to talking puss.
Even when we're with Jamie, even Jamie is like, this is disrespectful.
Yeah, towards women worldwide.
No, I know. Actually, I immediately don't. This dynamic feels like I'm being bullied in high. It feels like
you're the pussy.
There's now two straight guys.
You are a pussy, as we
You're
discussed.
not allowed to call me a faggot for this episode. I know how much you love calling me a faggot.
Fine, I guess it'll just be me then.
It's terrifying.
No, I wanted to get you guys together because Lucas potentially has a huge announcement.
No, well, should we just talk about it immediately and then you can
I want to
edit
tease
it later?
I want to tease it.
No, but we're never going to get there if we tease it.
Yes, we will. Why wouldn't we get there if we tease it?
Because what if I get in my own head about it?
There we go. I was like, if we tease it, we actually might be more likely to get there.
No, if we edge it the whole episode.
Is what a person needs in order to get there.
Yeah, and not to put any pressure on you, but I did open this by screaming, this is going to be the greatest episode.
I love your haircut. You are both filming your Comedy Central sets tomorrow.
We are.
On the same exact show.
Yes, we are.
It's almost like I booked that show. I looked at the list and I was like, every single alumni of the podcast is on this.
Yeah, there's like
show.
a non-binary one-name comic, which I love.
I don't like the way you said it. I don't like that.
Which I adore. Where's the camera? Where's the nearest camera? Great. And I like that. There's one directly across from me. I was like, fuck the one across from me. I love non-binary one-name comics.
Who's the non-binary one-name comic?
Holmes.
Oh, no, I don't think Holmes is non-binary.
Oh no, Lucas, edit all this out.
Can you look this up?
Can we look up whether Holmes is non-binary?
I think Holmes is actually a straight. No, actually, I think she's gay, but maybe she came out as non-binary.
Here's the deal:
maybe they came out as non-binary.
If you have one name and that name is Holmes, as in plural houses, you're non-binary.
Should I spend this episode roasting a comic that none of us know?
I have a lot of respect.
We're on a taping with tomorrow.
No, Holmes, I have a lot of respect for. They had, if it's they had a pilot on like Fox. Like they've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, why do they go by one name?
I don't know, but I think
which I love. But why?
Maybe they had a full. I actually do think that if you
what's the reason for such a wonderful?
If you went back in time that looked at mononym artists, a lot of them are genderqueer. Like Prince, genderqueer.
Was Prince gender?
She, they.
God, yes. Of course Prince was genderqueer.
Is that right? Then I'm right, right?
I think we're both right.
She, they, pansexual.
It is funny that like when you have...
She has her sexuality in her bio.
This is the Wikipedia.
I don't know why I'm saying that. Like, I'm not guilty of that.
She's like, what? She makes her sexuality her whole personality?
Holmes, if you're listening right now, we would love to have you on the podcast.
Love to have you on.
Congrats on your Comedy Central set.
Congrats. And thank you for being non-binary so that I don't look like a bigot. Because I assumed, and I appreciate it.
I just want to know, how do people know their friends' pronouns if their friends aren't famous? You know, like we live in... We're just Googling our friends' pronouns. It's kind of weird.
It is. I mean, you do have to ask. That's the interesting thing about pronouns is you don't ask if the person, like, if an AFAB person is very femme, you're never going to be like, oh, what are your pronouns? But if they're masculine...
Well, I'm never going to be like it no matter what.
You ask for the pronouns when you're on
your shows to virtue signal, but in real life, if we're going to be honest for a second, do I think to ask pronouns? Actually, this came up at a show, but there was a man in the front row who just was giving a confusing gender vibe to me.
Okay.
And
I think the more woke way to say that is a fluid gender vibe.
This man, who I later did ask pronouns, he is included. I don't know if it was he, they, or whatever.
Yeah.
Not whatever. I didn't know what it was.
Man, I am so nervous for you.
Actually,
I don't like watching this.
I really love having a straight on the pod, like in kind of the hot seat. It's kind of
another straight.
Another straight, separate from me.
When you're near Lucas, you become a straight man.
This is what I try to say to people. Like,
oh, really?
It's like, it's actually, I'm broier and straighter than, I don't know. Like,
you're a toxic bro.
Kissing you is gayer than me kissing a woman.
Yes, or absolutely. Me kissing a guy.
Yeah.
Me kissing Sam would be much straighter than me kissing you.
Totally.
100%.
Unless I take the pearls off.
Us kissing each other would be a disaster.
It would be straight. It would be two negatives multiplying into a positive. Not negatives. There's nothing negative about being gay. I'm talking purely mathematically.
Us kissing each other would be my dream.
You look so handsome.
You touched me for the first time in our friendship. We have this thing where Ashley doesn't like
you're really
to touch
touchy
me.
and Ashley. Ashley like. Ashley does that. Do you know what I'm talking about? No, Ashley like reverts to her like middle school like alias when you like touch Ashley too much. She's like,
oh my god. There is something about a non-sexual partner, non-potential. if I could have sex with someone, I will let them touch me.
Touch
Yeah.
me! Just touch me! I love you so much and you won't touch me!
This is your inner thigh.
Look, it's always a pat. It's with Ashley. It's always like a.
Oh my God, it is always a pat. I like hold her and she's like, get the fuck off me.
We did a bit at your Having Gay Sex live show where we were a straight couple, and Ashley pretending to be a straight woman was the funniest thing ever because she just came off like a gay man. Like she tried to act more effeminate, but she's so masked that it just came off like she was an effeminate man, not a woman.
How's your diabetes?
It's bad. It's been really bad all night.
So what do you need to do?
Yeah, what do you need from us?
Also getting
Nothing.
diabetes representation in fast.
Yeah.
Clip.
Yeah.
Here's
Thank
a
you for
diabetes
having
clip.
diabetes.
That's actually my sex story. Is last night I got fucked by diabetes.
Oh.
Ass fuck bite. Well, you look so handsome, and I love your haircut. I love your new glasses.
Crazy how much you
your
flirt with
teeth.
me, but won't touch me.
If
I got him to laugh for the first time. That's all I care about. Why is that?
Alex
No,
laughing
that's
is big
pretty
because he
obviously,
goes through
yeah.
every episode. He has to sit through all of these pieces of
Yeah.
trash. Yeah. So he he really knows the good ones.
You know the thing that some of you are literally paying money to listen to? This guy gets paid to do it. You should edit that out. Sorry.
No, I liked it.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting dynamic. He gets paid to do what other people will do for free. Isn't
And
that
pay for.
shocking?
No, and pay for and like.
Oh,
really?
right, the Patreon. But I find it shocking that anyone will even listen to any podcast ever.
I
for
agree with
free.
you.
Free of charge.
I think it's crazy.
I feel that way about solo shows.
Well, we talk about this all the time. Why would anybody like us?
I don't understand. Every single time, and thank you for coming
Why
to my
would anyone
shows,
like you
and
guys?
please come to my
Yes,
shows.
me
But
too.
every time I see the crowd at my shows, and it's more than 0 people, I go, what is wrong with you?
I get that.
You're mentally ill.
Yeah.
Why are you here? I'm
Yeah.
a stranger to you.
I think it's
I have
easier
to-
for
I have
us
a
to
bad
say
set,
that.
though, when I do that. I
When
do
you
that
think that
often.
way?
When I think that way, I have to like get out of my head and see myself. Well, that's because
Yeah.
I have trouble with self-love. So like if I'm loving myself, I usually have a better
I will
set.
say there's a moment that I have frequently on stage when I'm doing the pussy side guacamole joke and I start pounding on the clit as if it's
I did that in crowd work the other day, and I thought of you.
this
'Cause
thing.
I was talking to a Navy. There was a Navy boxer. He was
Nice,
a boxer in the
nice.
Navy. I know.
This
I'm
is a
interrupting
great
your
act
story.
out.
It is
Yeah.
actually kind of nice when you kind of like you can see someone's sensibilities in someone else's stand-up because
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
close
yeah.
friends.
Oh yeah. We do
Yeah.
that a lot, and I think we have some of that, but we are more creatively aligned than me and
Yeah,
Sam.
that's a compliment of you to say to me, given that when you met me, I had like 5 minutes. So all the time I've built has been built on the road with you. And you're like, yeah, we mirror each other. I'm like, I've been opening for you. Like I've been just
I feel like-
watching you and then writing jokes. So
Our
yeah.
weird thing is that I'll be like, I just wrote this great joke about climate change, and you're like, I also just wrote the exact same joke.
We
about
do that a
climate
lot.
change.
Yeah, we do that
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
But this might come off as either a great compliment or a horrendous insult. A lot of people were like, why Lucas? Like, why Lucas? But I was like, no, he's gonna be really good. I was like, he's gonna be really,
Who
really
is like
good.
why, when you say
I
who's why
cannot
Lucas?
say
Oh,
who-
like other comics?
Yeah.
Oh, like when I was just starting or like
Yeah.
pretty recently?
When you were just
Oh, I don't like this.
Oh, you're looking
If
at
I
Sam? Was it
I'm
Sam?
so insecure.
No.
Oh, okay.
This-
Sam was like, I don't like this because you're outing me for thinking
No,
Lucas
because
was
I'm so
untalented.
insecure. If someone said this to me, I'd just be thinking about that for the rest of my life.
No, but that's not me.
when you were,
okay. Good
I
for
mean, when you were new, it was sort of the same thing. You were good, but I knew how good you were gonna be, but like you weren't like good yet.
Yeah,
You
I
can
know.
watch
I'm
someone.
actually curious.
I did.
Can we bleep it out and you just tell me?
No, I'm not. I'm not
Why?
doing that.
Come on.
No,
I just
no.
want to know. I'm not going to be offended. I'm curious as
It was
to.
like a fair amount of people.
Oh, okay. She was like, how could I even remember the whole list? I mean, to call out one person on it would be to offend all the others that didn't get
Oh
mentioned.
no.
I should probably introduce everybody.
Yeah, sure.
We're in the apartment. We're having gay sex. We're having gay sex with my best friend, Sam.
Sam
Sam,
felt condescending. Thank you so much for having me.
he had a huge sold out off-Broadway run of his show, Sugar Daddy. Where is it going next?
Well, you'll have to go to www.samuelmorrison.com to find tour
and
dates.
sign up for your newsletter.
And sign up for my newsletter. Please sign up for my newsletter and my text alert. It's so easy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this before, but I'll just send you a notification when I'm in your city.
There's no way they know anything about this.
Yeah, please do that because I'm not as famous as Ashley, and I like desperately need people to come to my shows. But I'm so talented.
He's so talented, and he's so diabetes. He has so much diabetes.
He is so diabetes.
He's
That's what I
gay.
was gonna
He's
say.
diabetes.
I am sort of the industry now.
And,
What's an industry plant, by the way? Because I've heard that thrown around a lot. Is
industry
that the
plant?
Yeah,
I
you
have
never
not
heard of
heard
that?
that
Is
one.
that a
never heard that
diabetes
phrase?
thing, or are we just
Yeah.
taking a hard left? Into
Alex,
like,
get on the mic.
It's like an artist. I think it's generally done in music more than anything, but it's like someone who appears, all their branding appears to be like an authentic, spontaneous growth, but they actually had like a lot of, or at least some degree of industry support by
Oh
them.
yeah, that's Sam. So Sam's like a really Sam's like an industry plant for comedy.
Okay, now what do they call someone who has had so much spontaneous growth, but no one acknowledges it?
You literally were on Comedy Central. You shot a special with Don't Tell. JFL asked you to headline the festival. He was a new face. You were a JFL headliner.
They also, well, okay, fine.
No, but there's like so much. There's so much more that you deserve and have almost gotten and then not gotten.
I don't care.
Yeah, just the way that the industry has ignored you is like clearly offensive, sexist, homophobic.
Oh, I
all
don't
of the
care. I want to
things.
move on.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
Like,
Which
I truly
are
don't
bad.
care.
But can I just jump in and say that? Sexism, homophobia. These are things that I have spent my whole career championing against because homophobia for me is. By
We
the way,
don't
when
cut
I'm on
off
this
the ref.
podcast, and I
Just let him go.
I feel like lesbians will get this reference, but maybe this is just a homophobic thing to say. But you know when you're running a Tough Mudder, and
That's what I call having sex with Jen.
Nice. That was good.
that's what I call eating ass. It's a hack riff, but
That's what I call diabetes.
really brave. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
You.
But you know when you're running a Tough Mudder and they have all those. There's the area you have to run through with the electric shock things.
No.
Maybe we could pull up an image of this or something. I don't know if this is like
Oh,
one of those
I
podcasts
would
where
love
you're
to
like,
get
pull
one of
up,
those.
Alex, pull up
Yeah,
an
Alex.
image of
Alex,
pull up an image of a
I
Tough
know you
Mudder.
can't pull up an image, but can we get to a point where we're pulling up images and we can put it into the OBS and get it in the edit?
But anyway, there's these
Can
like
you replace
hanging
Lucas?
electrical shock things, and you have to run through them and basically like avoid them and not get bogged down. And that's like me with saying problematic things on this podcast.
Yes, yeah.
I try and like
You're
just
the meme.
run through these. I'm like, Holmes is non-binary, and then I just start sprinting, and I'm like, oh fuck, I hope I don't get bogged down.
And
just
I'm here in the corner, just sort of like following you, but trying not to get dirty. You know? I'm just like looking at him, avoiding mud.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly,
Oh, wow.
exactly.
You know what would have been a quicker one? The meme where you're dodging the lasers.
Yeah, or
Mission
yeah.
Impossible.
Right, Mission Impossible, lasers. That's another good example.
A little more word economy. But Tough Mudder, obviously,
Mudder
more
is
lesbian.
funny.
Yes, gayer.
Far more lesbian.
Tough Mudder is a hilarious phrase.
Great phrase.
Yeah.
Tough Mudder.
Yeah, that should be in a joke.
Yeah, it really should.
But thank you for being here, Lucas. My straight bait. My straight bait, luring in problematic phrases, kind of like
Straight bait, I think, sounds like what they're gonna call when straight men masturbate in the future.
straight baiting.
Straight baiting. Yeah.
But thank you for being here to co-host.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry about the soundboard.
It's okay.
Thank you for sitting on my face.
You're welcome.
Anything you want to plug?
LucasZelnick.com. I'm actively on tour. They keep sending me to bigger and bigger comedy clubs without any capacity to sell the seats in there. When does this come out? Not this weekend.
It might come out.
If it comes out, let me just tell you, I just had the worst weekend at the Tempe Improv you have ever heard of. If this doesn't come out this weekend, listen, I'm going right now in the present, which is not the present for you, but is for me.
They understand how podcasts work.
I am going to
I actually think this is worth doing.
I'm
okay,
going
never
to
mind.
You think they know how podcasts work? I know nobody knows how anything works.
Yes.
It is kind of, never mind. Keep
I
going.
will have gone, but I am not yet having gone to the Tempe Improv, where I have to move 1,600 seats in
What
a
was
market
that?
where
A Nazi. not yet having gone.
I will not yet have gone at this time next week. I know what I'm saying is confusing. All I'm saying is I need people at my shows, okay? The lesbian, here's the thing is I have...
yeah, but if you want to go to the show, you got to solve the fucking riddle of when it is. Good luck.
Well, we have this...
He does sound like a bridge troll. He's like a straight
When
bridge
will
troll.
I yet not have gone to the Tempe Improv? What crawls but doesn't walk?
Anyway, why is no one coming?
I will say I have, and I don't think I can say this word, so you'll
Do you
probably
need
have
to
to
do
cut
jumping
it.
jacks?
I do, but I'm
Get
not
up and do
going
your
to.
jumping jacks. Just go
Do it while
go
I'm
to
talking.
that corner of the room
No.
and do your jumping jacks.
No, but also I don't want to do jumping jacks. Please don't make me do jumping jacks. I can just wait for my insulin to hit it.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I do jumping jacks because jumping jacks bring down my blood sugar, so I randomly start doing them because it's quicker than giving myself insulin. Or you can just give yourself insulin and then wait for the insulin
and
to
he's
hit, which
so
is what
fit
most
and
people
hot,
do.
and he just breaks out into spontaneous
Right, and also I'm trying
exercise.
to get fit, so Ashley will touch me one day.
It is your physical body that Ashley is turned off by that.
I know, yeah. If I look like Jen. Hey, okay.
Okay, that's...
Anyway, this is the most important part of the podcast for you. I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry.
wait.
Please go on with your riddle.
I was gonna say something about the. This is what I was gonna say, but I think you're probably gonna have to bleep it out because I don't think I can say the D word. Can I say that? I probably can't say the D word.
Dyke?
Yeah.
Okay. Clip this. I am giving Lucas explicit permission.
I'm not here.
In this context. A one-time pass
One time? That's so unfair.
for this moment.
Wait,
I can't.
what?
Once I get started, I want to rip it all day.
You be grateful, you straight piece of shit. She's giving you something that no other straight people get, and you say one time?
Yeah, I feel like I deserve at least 2.
Okay, how many do you need?
Wait, this is
Pause,
Can
time
I say
out?
a mean joke that should get cut out?
Yeah.
This is how you know he's a trust fund kid, because he's like,
Leave it in.
Yeah, I'll leave it in. Leave it in.
Yeah, seriously.
Especially if I'm about to say the D word. You might want to take all the shots you can
Well,
at me
let's
before
see
I
if
say
you
it.
really need to say it.
No, I don't need to say it. I just feel it.
You just why do you want to call me a dyke?
Here's the thing is,
After you speak, I'll say dyke for you at the moment you need it to be said.
okay, I don't think you're going to really know the moment that I want to say it, but
Let's try it.
Every show that I have, there's like the whole
Oh.
audience, and then there's a fucking
Dyke.
corner, and you can just see them. It's 2 old school
Dykes.
and they are.
this is the best bit ever. It is killing me.
There's 2 just super old school Ford Mustang driving
Dykes.
who just are sitting in the back of the comedy club. And I'm telling you, these
Faggots!
Oh my God. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about all that. Are just in the back of the club and they're having a great time, and they're wearing fedoras and they have like pins.
Yeah.
And then they come up to my meet and greet line and I'm like, those
Dykes.
are from Ashley Gavin.
Yeah.
And so that's why first of all, I want to say thank you to Bottom Nation really for coming out to support my shows. And
Thank you, Bottom Nation.
that's why I also want to say, if you'd like to come to any future shows, I promise these
Dykes.
will have a great time at my show. And even though they're
I'll say this as the dyke. I give you a dyke guarantee that if you go to either of these guys' shows,
Yeah.
it's going to be
No, I
dyke
gotta
friendly
say
and you're going to
this.
have the best time.
Lesbians like me more than they like you.
well, I
My
actually
solo show about trauma is honestly what you
Well,
want
you're-
from Ashley.
You're more of a safe space for comedy than I am, for sure.
Oh,
Totally.
absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
and I found this at your shows, but I go up after a lot of,
Dykes.
and I do.
I have a couple notes on this bit when I
And
can get
faggots.
in.
And faggots.
No, but when I go up after like a queer
We
comic,
had a deal.
I do find that this is like, and we were talking about this, like kind of internalized homophobia by the gay community. I can't believe I'm accusing the gay community of being homophobic
No,
on this podcast.
but we've had this discussion.
But the queer comics get held to a higher account on your
do.
show than I do, because I come on and I'm like, what are your pronouns? And everyone's like, this guy's the best guy
Right.
ever. And then one of you guys does it and it's like, first of all, not a laugh line at all. And second of all, it's like, yeah, you better fucking ask.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but that almost makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
Queer comedians are held to women are held to a far higher standard.
Well,
Well,
it makes
no, but it's
sense, but I don't
because-
think it's reasonable.
But there you
Right, I agree. I don't
We're
think
all
it's,
just in the full course of things. Either we should be held to a more aggressive standard, or ideally we could all be treated similarly.
Yeah,
in
ideally.
an ideal world.
But if you're, I was about to say an expert on gun control, why not make this as, complicated as it has to be?
Bring
But
it
if you're
back
an
to
expert
AR-15s.
on gun control.
Yes.
And then you say something about AR-15s that is just like flat out incorrect. People are going to be like, we hold you to a higher standard so what I'm saying is gay people.
Oh,
You are the
experts
should have
representation,
guns.
so you are supposed to do a good job. But
No, just because
having,
we know more.
Yeah.
And also we're a part of the community. So if I say something hurtful to another person,
Yes.
then I feel like it's like I should know better. And also I might even be like more conscious about what I'm doing.
But I think that's true when it comes to like pronouns and stuff like that. But then I think there are actual jokes
Right.
that men get away with
yes.
all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. But also I do think that we need to have the patience to educate straight men because here's the thing is I've had so many trans friends and you might have never had any trans friends.
Lucas has so many
Oh my
trans
God.
friends.
I am
Wait, no, but
overloaded with
someone
trans friends. It's
for
like
example,
frustrating.
those pants has obviously never had a trans friend before because, and so like we actually need to have like the patience to teach them.
I just want to say this is if you've ever run a Tough Mudder, there are these like electric shock things hanging down and me trying to get through the day without saying hi to one of my trans friends. It's like that. I'm
Can I say
overloaded
this?
and surrounded by
You
trans
didn't
friends.
ask to say the D word once. You would have said it 45 times.
Well, once we fell into the bit, I was like, this seems like the best
Also,
solution for all of us.
Very clearly could have not used it at all.
No, the only phrase I
no,
wanted
he
to
needed
say,
me to do that.
can I have my one?
Yeah.
Is Dyke Corner.
Dyke Corner's hilarious.
Just because it is like
Play on words.
it's almost like the comedy club seats them in a special area because they're so lesbian. Because I have lesbian
That's
people on my
so
show,
funny.
but then there are
Dykes.
oh, and lucaszelnick.com to come to one of those shows. I never said that. That's where all my tour dates are. I never finished that. I do have a mailing list, all that shit, all the classic Ashley shit. You can find all my information at lucaszelnick.com.
Also, just one more time, my credits.
Listener, are you listening to our Patreon exclusive You're Having Gay Sex? Well, here's a sneak peek of what you missed last week.
We are now naked and start having sex, and I feel something like wet near me ass. I thought she was trying to stick a finger up my ass, so I was like, okay, that's cool. I realized both her hands were occupied, and her dog is right behind me.
No!
Her dog was licking my ass and trying to get closer to my vagina.
I feel towering with a dog and be like, high five.
There are 4 bonus episodes a month of this series, You're Having Gay Sex, on our Patreon at the $10 tier and then 2 at the $5 tier. Patreon.com/WHGS. Listener, one of the best ways to support this podcast is to come see me live, okay? It's a really great way to just support the whole team and everything that we do here. So get on my text list or my email list. It's international, both of them. AshleyGavin.com. Go sign up, and I'll literally text you when I'm in your area. So you don't have to hear all these plugs. You can skip right by them. Don't even worry about your city. Just get on one of those 2 things, and I will let you know, okay? Because there's a lot of cities coming, and I just remaking this announcement over and over again. We all think it's annoying. You do. I do. Get on the text list, you piece of shit. I wanted, obviously I went on your podcast and I talked a little bit about what happened to me over the summer
Oh, I
with
didn't
like the
realize this
cancellation
is-
and stuff like that. And I realized like a week ago that like I just need to get this off my chest so I can like move on and everybody can move on.
Yeah, why don't I take the
is-
lead? So why don't I start us off?
I like talk to my patrons and my community about like their biggest questions and I like wanted to hit them. But I think the first thing I need to say is like, it took me so long to talk about this and it took me so long to post my apology because when this all started, I got these like death threats and these threats on my shows and kind of verbal harassment and I got doxxed and my girlfriend got doxxed. But now that we've moved away from like the safety issues, I feel like I can finally speak on it. And before I do, I just want to say my apology still stands. It's going to feel a little bit different than what I said now that I'm revealing the details. But like, I am sorry to Olivia. I'm sorry I humiliated her. And I think that's like the most important thing that people know, like these two pieces.
You're also getting hit from all angles in the aftermath of that. So it's like you're getting doxxed. You have like people telling you to kill yourself all the time, like so much, because obviously any good advocate of mental health would do that. Would reach out to you, go, she did something bad for mental health. Well, the best thing I can do is try and see if I can get her to kill herself.
And that would have been the funniest thing I could have done.
Yeah.
For me to kill myself, I mean, would have been the most hilarious possible response. And I did think about it.
But you're getting inundated. You have
I know.
You have like
I mean, you were there. You saw me.
Yeah.
You saw me at my absolute lowest point.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this was really hard to watch you go through.
yeah, and I'm not trying to like build up sympathy. Like the big thing was the safety of me, the safety of my family, and the safety of my fans. And like I did have to hire extra security, you know.
You heard it here first, extra security. So Ashley's solution to problematic statements is the cops. Wow.
I mean, that was a really
That
was a really interesting.
You know, personally, I've always been an ACAB guy myself, but wow.
Very hard to find security who is not a cop or an ex-cop, by the way. There's no like, there's no dykes you can hire.
Yeah, you're calling
like,
security.
unproblematic
Are they black?
cop.
Oh my God, can we hang up the phone? You're like, I'm just trying to do a liberal solution.
It's so funny. But anyway, so at every single show, I do a kind of trigger warning at the top of the show where I do a bunch of satirical jokes. I explicitly say to the audience, these are satire. And one of those jokes is, if you didn't laugh at that, kill yourself. If you thought that was sincere, double kill yourself. No one is pro-suicide. Tweet that I'm pro-suicide. I will retweet it because no one is pro-suicide. That's sort of the joke. That was one of the things that got clipped out of context. The thing that got clipped was just, I am pro-suicide. And that like kind of went viral.
And you're saying tweet it, which is fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you're begging people.
I did. And turns out that was a mistake.
Turns out if you beg people to go, if you say I'm pro-suicide, and if you really believe that, go fucking tweet that Ashley Gavin said she's pro-suicide. Turns out some people are like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was telling this joke in Indianapolis, I got a heckle during that suicide bit. Someone yelled out, I tried. And I wasn't sure who that person was, and I ignored it. I later, in my set, came back out on stage, got heckled again, and this is where the audio online doesn't capture some stuff. As this heckler, you know, Olivia, was yelling, I shook my head, and I flipped her off. That was my nonverbal warning to be like, please stop. And then that's when I let out the first kill yourself.
Let out. As if it was a burp. Kill yourself.
Yeah. And that, you know, if you listen to the audio, that one's like a lot softer. It's very flippant.
Well, I also want to say soft for you, which when you clip something and take it out of context seems very harsh.
Especially when it's just audio and you can't see that I'm smiling.
Yeah, that's also true.
I do think that's a really good point. Ashley, if you've never been to the shows, Ashley is going fucking nuts up there the whole time, regardless of what she's saying. Everything is crazy at an Ashley Gavin show. Everyone's going fucking nuts the whole time. She's murdering in terms of like the actual laughter. Like most comedy shows, there's like a discernible cadence. It's laugh, pause, 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 laugh, pause, 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 laugh, 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 pause, pause, pause. And Ashley's shows are just like the whole fucking time.
I like to kill.
Yeah.
I love to kill.
Well, no, I think a lot of the times it's a lot of fun, but it's just like Ashley goes ham on everything and does not back down on anything.
I think it's part of why people like me.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, so the second time when she yelled, I tried, I put together that this was the same person. Her body language was very positive and she was sort of smiling. And because of who I am, I thought that what this meant was a positive people come to get roasted at my shows. You know what I mean?
I will
so
say,
like,
we are in a context where our job is to make light of anything that's happening. Our job is there is no, and there are certain comics who are masterful at living in silence for longer, you know?
Yeah, I'm not, that's not me.
But the traditional stand-up, you don't want any silence. You want laughter as frequently as possible, as often as possible. And having a sincere moment where someone goes, I tried, and you go, well, hold on, let's talk about that. That's really serious.
Yeah.
That's not a joke. Your mental health is important first and foremost. That's just not what happens at a stand-up comedy show.
No, it's not. And if you are triggered during a stand-up comedy show, the number one thing that you can do to get attention to that trigger is to yell, to continue yelling. The number one way you can stop it is by getting up and leaving the room. I have had people get triggered, get up, leave the room, and come back 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
Really triggered. Like, someone was reminded, I do a joke about babies having this instinct to swim.
Yeah.
He was reminded of his son who drowned, and he got up, he left, he came back. I checked in on him, actually. I was like, you good? And he was like, yeah, I just went to the bathroom. And we actually talked about it after the show.
Yeah.
Really sweet guy.
Interacting with a comedian live, unscripted, in front of a major crowd is uncomfortable.
Even if you're having a good time.
Yeah,
it's like
even
a roller
if you're
coaster.
having a good time. That's what crowd work is it's people oversharing because they are in an uncomfortable position and someone making fun of it. That is the social contract of a stand-up comedy show. And that's just what happens there. If you don't want that, you probably shouldn't be there. And if you realize when you're already there that all of a sudden you don't want that, to Ashley's point, remove yourself from the situation. But living in it and trying to solve it that way, you're trying to solve it in the context.
You're trying to have a real world interaction during a play.
Yes.
And one of the people is playing a character.
Yes.
And look, I don't want to say Olivia's feelings of humiliation and feeling like I didn't take her seriously. I think those are valid. She has every right to feel like this interaction went horribly.
Yeah.
We were playing by different rules. Now, personally, from her body language and her face, I really did not read her as being upset. I read her as joking with me.
Yeah.
And I just want to make super clear, I did give the nonverbal warning. I gave the satire warning at the top of the show. And worst case scenario, I misunderstood what she was trying to communicate with me. Then they cut the audio out of this. They actually mischaracterized this audio. I then started roasting other people in the room, which they said was about her and her friend as they were leaving the show. And also with the audio, you can't hear Olivia yelling because of where the microphone is placed in the room and the roar of the laughter of the crowd. I would never, ever, ever engage with someone who is just like silent. Like, that's just not something that I would do. And I want people to know that. So when I realized she was upset and she was leaving, I offered the refund and I apologized. After she left, I attempted to offer the refund and talk with Olivia after the show. And then after that, her friend left. I offered to the server, please get them a refund if they want to talk to me after the show. Like, I want everyone to know that I did my best to solve this in the room. I've had crowd work interactions that felt like, oh, I didn't feel so great about that one. And I always try to solve them in the room. And another thing that was cut from the audio is like, I did say to her after I was done, I was like, you know, those are jokes, right? And I did the same thing to the other people who I was roasting, you know, in the room.
It's an imperfect dynamic. You're like, I can never, the number of times I've been doing crowd work and I'm like, oof, I'm being a little aggressive right now. And then I'll check in with them and I'll be like, is this too much? And they're like, totally fine. This is why I'm here.
Yes.
And then vice versa, the number of times when I've done it and I'm like, oh, I'm being totally tame. And then all of a sudden I see them like 5 minutes later and they're like arms crossed having a bad time.
Yeah.
And I've actually come back to people and been like, did I piss you off?
Yeah, I've done that too.
And sometimes the answer is yes. And it's like,
yeah.
Well, fucking yeah. I mean, I guess in hindsight that makes sense. I said a lot of insane shit you would never ever say to a stranger, but it is in the context of this thing we're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
At the end of the show, I felt very strange because I couldn't understand what had happened. Like with trying to offer the refund, trying to say I'll talk to you after the show, all of those things. I went and was able to find their Instagrams because they had tagged me in a story. And when I was like, maybe this woman is not familiar with my work. And I went and looked at her profile and I saw, oh, she doesn't follow any of my podcast hosts. She doesn't follow any of my friends. Like, I wonder if she just saw one clip and decided to come to this show. And when I looked at her stories, I saw that she was kind of out having a good time. And that kind of hit me weird because I was like, I'd asked the server, I was like, did they want the refund? And the server was like, no. I was like, did they say anything? And they said just that they were sad. The whole thing left this feeling on me of like, I'm not sure what to do. But I knew that I viewed their stories and that they were going to see that. And I didn't want it to escalate, like, oh, she's looking at her stories, you know. So this was perhaps the dumbest thing I've ever done. But I know that if you block someone and unblock them, it won't show that you saw their story, according to Google. So I did that. And then the next week, I had a couple medical things going on. I just spaced on it. And then I was, you know, a few days later, the video came out and I was like, okay, well, now I got doxxed literally the morning that the video came out. So it just was a total whirlwind after that. And I'm so sorry that I if there's anything I wish I had done differently, I wish I had just immediately sent a message being like, hey, you know, like I said in the room, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
hurt your feelings.
Like, do you want that refund? I wish I had offered another time.
Yeah.
And I'm still sorry that I humiliated her. I never want to humiliate anybody. That's like the number one thing. But I will say, and I think this is like trying to find the silver lining, what I've realized from this is that I have known about people who like my online presence, who don't like my shows for a really long time. I've seen the Reddit threads. I started doing that satire warning up top as a way to mitigate for people who really didn't understand my comedy. And I don't mean that in a trivializing way.
Yeah,
my comedy doesn't
connect.
Get it. My comedy doesn't connect for you. And I know this to be true because so many of my fans are not even old enough to have attended comedy clubs regularly. So they are unfamiliar with the culture. And a lot of them admittedly are like, I never used to watch comedy until you. This is a very frequent thing that I hear. So I don't think it's surprising that so many people who enjoy my podcast content, they might not like my stand-up. I'm not ashamed of that. But I think there was part of me that was almost scared of that reality. And now that this whole thing has happened, I've noticed that there's been a divide between the people who are more, you know, they know more about comedy and the people who don't. And then the people who have seemed to stick around are the people who understand this culture a little bit more. And that ultimately has been positive. And it's made me think, what do you really want to do? Do you want to be a clip machine? Do you want to just make gay kind of influencer, lifestyle, gay content? And the answer is no. I'm here to be a comedian. And if that means that some people are going to walk away from my work, that's okay. And I hope they find a comedian that they love.
Or enjoy the podcast from the safety of your armchair. Do you know what I mean? But like, I don't know why I said armchair, like they're 80.
They don't own an armchair.
From
dude.
the safety of your
hospice. They got a
hospice.
couch off the street.
Be in your hospice at the age of 95, having looking back on your life. No, but like because I always say this to people because I have the same thing.
Well, you have the same thing. You have the same thing.
Because if you are 23 or younger right now, you probably couldn't have been old enough to get into a comedy club before the pandemic, which means you probably haven't been to a comedy club. And then there was an explosion of comedy in short form.
And more heckling than ever.
Oh, totally.
More heckling. I mean, like, I'm sure you've noticed this. Like,
oh, yeah. I mean, I still do a lot of colleges. And they're worse than they were before the pandemic by far.
And people don't. And so I the other thing is I'm like, sometimes you get in the room and people it's clear they haven't thought through. Like they've been watching these clips and scrolling them from the safety of their armchair. And then
they're lazy boy.
And then
they're massive reclining massage built-in refrigerator.
Exactly.
Lazy boy.
Or from the comfort of their gender non-conforming co-op in Berkeley, which is beautiful. And we love. And vegan, which vegan and beautiful are synonyms to me. So I said beautiful, but I meant vegan. And when
I say vegan, I mean beautiful.
Quite literally. You're looking vegan today. But I all I can say is sometimes I have to actually say to these people, I'm like, you know, in the clips when people are laughing, tonight that's you. So you gotta show up as the people who laugh tonight, because sometimes people are like sitting there like, okay, well, when's the show gonna start? And I'm like, you're the show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Culturally, we're in a different time. This went a little longer than I wanted to, but I think what I'm trying to get across is like, when I heard the audio, I was like, that's disturbing. And I know, I saw this one clip of a young lady who, maybe a young person who was leaving their home and bawling because, she wasn't mentally doing very well. She said she was homeless. All her stuff was in her car. And she was so disturbed by the audio that she just made this video crying to camera. The fact that the apologies and the contextualization was taken out meant a lot of people were really triggered by this. I was triggered. When I heard it, I was like, and without knowing that I tried to silently communicate, without seeing my smile, without seeing me turn to other people, without seeing any of that, it's disturbing. And I'm really sorry if you got hurt by this. I'm still very sorry to Olivia as well. But I just want people to know that this story that she wooed and then I screamed at her for like 5 minutes is just not how it happened and not true to who I am. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut this part, but.
No, I mean, it was like I said this to you last night. Like when I heard the audio, I was like, this is unlike anything I've ever heard from you before.
Yeah.
It was like, it was upsetting. It, obviously it was like a mistake. It was a misjudgment and you went too far.
Oh yeah. I definitely took it to 11.
And, you immediately recognize that on stage. You recognize that now. And that's an important part of this.
I pulled up this TikTok clip of me telling some guy to kill himself. Can I play it?
I love that you're just going to do this and nothing is going to happen to you.
Well, it is a little different because we go, it's
I feel
Jamie
like
and me.
not
Well, do you want to listen to it? It's pretty short. It's under a minute.
Let's hear it.
Okay. The guy was. Oh, we're testing the National Emergency Alert System.
Ashley Gavin told someone to kill herself.
The cancellation continues right here on We're Having Gay Sex.
I just panicked because I was like, oh, I haven't heard this glucose monitor alert and I am dying.
Yeah, no, it's just sort of funny. I mean, this guy was really ruining the show and trying to. But it was I think pretty funny.
While you find that, I'll just continue. And I think basically all I was going to say was that it was really hard. I'm biased because I know you, because you're my best friend and I love you so much. And I know your heart and I know that you would never do something like that on purpose. You would never, make that. I've never seen you make that kind of mistake before. And, I love you wholly, and that is something that
It's really disgusting, Sam, to be talking about my asshole during this.
I'm trying to say. I love your gaping hole.
Thank you.
And
I hate women's holes.
Yeah,
as an ally.
That's basically it. It was just obviously, it was.
Yeah,
it was
there were
hard.
moments in the crowd work where I was like, I need to just this is too much on her. I need to distribute. I knew it was not my best. It happened so fast. And there was so much. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, there was no security at the show. So there was shouting from the audience, from me. It was escalating so quickly.
What I'm saying is it was hard for me because I know you. People don't know you. And if you don't know you and you just hear that, it sounds awful. And just to know you and know the context and know that you would never do something like that. And the ways that you've been there for me in our friendship, I know that how empathetic you know, just how much of a beautiful person you are.
Sam and I have been. Sam and I have been through a lot together.
This now sounds like you asked me to say this during.
No,
this.
no, I didn't.
I obviously
Keep going.
just came
Finish
on
the
this
script.
pod. Yeah, no, and so it was just like it was just hard for me to know you that way and see you go through this. And you know, there was a lot of just a lot of hurt that came out of this. And it was confusing and it was painful.
Yeah.
And I honestly, like, I don't know how you have processed it because I still haven't processed it. And it's why I like haven't been talking as much during this section because like it's hard to understand. There's so many rules that we're like writing right now as a society when it comes to like online and online versus in person in general, but specifically in the comedy world. And people don't know how to react yet. Okay, hard transition into gaping holes.
Yeah. Sam,
It's-
that's my gay sex from this week. I hope people know where my heart is and that, you know, I'm sorry. And yeah, it's a complicated kind of gray thing that happened. Listener, if you're queer like I am, which I think you are because you are here, you need to look into Green Chef. And let me tell you why. Because not only is Green Chef an amazing meal kit and everything's delicious and easy to make, so easy that even I can do it, but they've got something for every lifestyle. And you know from your little queer friend group and everyone you've dated, there's a different peanut allergy or keto or whatever that you need to accommodate. They've got everything. They've got some of those Mediterranean recipes. They've got plant-rich vegan and vegetarian meals featuring certified organic whole fruits and vegetables. They've got all kinds of plant-based proteins. Whatever you got, paleo, yada, yada, I can't even name them all. Green Chef has something for you. But the other thing I love about Green Chef is that it's sustainable. They offset 100% of their delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. You know me, I'm a guilty little gay. I like eating something that I know I can feel good about. But most important, it's convenient. It's easy. You got dinner in 30 minutes or less, 10-minute lunches, and everything is absolutely delicious. I can't recommend it highly enough. I'm even impressing my girlfriend with the meals that I'm making, and I was never doing that before. Let me tell you that. For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code GAY250 at greenchef.com/gay250. Let me repeat that one more time. You get $250 off with code GAY250 at greenchef.com/gay250. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. Sam, did you have gay sex this week?
So I'll DJ this. There's a couple things. One is the time at in IBC in Palm Springs where I learned how to like suck a dick underwater from a
Let's talk about
professional
that one.
fisherman. But the other one is that I've had sex with like so many priests. I feel like we never.
A professional fisherman, why does he know how to suck a dick underwater? He's
like
not a fish.
He's like the
teaching
way
me, like-
you catch eel. He's talked to fish about it.
Literally, the way you said that was like from a fish. I learned how to suck a dick.
I didn't realize
It's like, he kills fish. He should be the last guy on earth that knows anything about sucking dick underwater.
So the way that a grouper are really easy to catch, but Maki, you do have to like fellatio a little bit.
He's like, how do you think I catch those fish?
the way
You gotta kind of wine and dine some of them.
This
Sustainable-
fish is a catch.
sustainable fishing is actually just sucking the dicks of fish until they come, so they're like sedated, and then you like break their necks.
Oh my God, that was vivid, actually.
Yeah, I suck them into a comatose type state.
A
and then
false state of security.
Yes, and then I break their C4 vertebrae.
Specific.
Which one do you think is more fun to talk about?
He know like breathing exercises. So like he was like teaching me.
Why is the fisherman also a yoga instructor?
Well, no, because to be underwater, I like how I'm getting really serious. I'm like, no, he knows how to suck dick underwater. I
Yeah,
get
because
really
I'm like, one thing I know about fishing, like traditional fishing, is you're definitely in the air for it. You do not have to be underwater. You have a rod and everything. The rod goes underwater.
So he was
you are in
a
the air.
deep sea fisherman, which means he had
Lucas
to,
is like, on my yacht.
I was gonna
We
say,
have a harpoon.
as someone that's been deep sea fishing, that just means you are in the air in the deep sea fishing. But
it's like you're sort of in the
doesn't mean
helicopter
you mean-
above the yacht, and then there's the boy on the yacht.
what
that
we
gets
do is
the fish.
we take a private jet and we just drop nukes on the ocean. That's how we fish.
Fish in a barrel. Fish in an ocean.
Fish in an ocean, and ocean's a barrel if you own it.
Deep sea fishing. You mean going to Bonefish Grill? Is that what he did? But he like knew how to like hold his breath underwater for like, you know, a very long time. So he was like, I honestly I forget most of the tips at this point, but it was like
No
things
pun
about,
intended,
like,
but I
you
think
were
this
really-
guy might have been catfishing you. I think he might have just wanted to blow you underwater.
Oh no, for sure. Like we all blowed each other.
Who blew? Wait, who's we all?
Oh yeah, so that's the other thing. Is
You're on
there's-
a full excursion.
There's the fishing.
Why were you with a group of fishermen at a hotel in Palm Springs? Can we start there? Why were there fishermen in Palm Springs? It's landlocked. It's the desert.
Which is so
Why were-
disappointing, by the way.
Yes.
Like, I've looked into going to Palm Springs. Why would anyone want to go
Oh,
there?
it's gorgeous. Oh, you must come to my
Okay,
puppy's
well, I'll
house in Palm
explain why
Springs.
anyone would
It
wanna
is
go there.
8,000 square feet, and I go every Passover, and it's lovely.
Oh my god! I feel like people. You talk about being rich more than I talk about being gay, which is
Yeah.
a lot.
Rich is my gay.
That's. Should we start a podcast?
Called Rich is
Rich
my
is
gay.
my
Rich
gay.
is my gay.
I'd be down.
I'm like genuinely getting frustrated by you guys. I really just want you to respect my deep sea fisherman blowjob daddy, and you keep making jokes. But yeah, it was more educational than you think. He was like, we like practiced, and I got good at underwater blowjobs.
So what are for the people listening who want to do an underwater blowjob,
Yeah.
Yes.
what do
What
we
should they
need to
know?
know?
I don't remember. I remember. So I remember. There was a lot about noses in there.
Why don't you remember the UWBJ?
But I did get a lot better. I'll just text him and ask him, and then I'll come back on.
UWBJ sounds like something related to the University of Washington.
Oh, I was gonna say it sounds like a climate collective. Like
UWBJ.
the UWBJ just announced that if we don't clean up our fossil fuel emissions, the whole city of Manhattan will be underwater.
The
in 30 years.
UWBJ just said that deep sea fishermen are gonna need to learn how to breathe underwater because the sea level is rising.
It
The
sounds.
UWB. Oh no, go.
It sounds like no.
It also sounds like a pro-Israel super PAC.
Yes.
UWBJ.
Yes.
Today the UWBJ announced that it will be fully taking Palestinians out of the West Bank.
It sounds like if you're too gay for the bar. That doesn't make any sense. It also sounds like a very like culty university. It sounds like it sounds like Brigham Young's sister that is even more
yeah.
culty.
Well, at the UWBJ, you learn how to UWBJ because you're gonna have a husband soon, and you need to keep him.
Yeah.
You need to keep him happy.
That's
He's
right.
got a lot of wives.
Yes.
What are you doing to spice this up?
What
are
are
you
you-
doing the UWBJ?
Does he have a pool?
Yeah.
And if so, may you be able to differentiate yourself.
I'm really upset with myself that I didn't get more UWBJ and riffs in. I'm gonna spend like
You're with two of the best riffers.
oh fuck off. I'm gonna take that chair of your face with me.
You can. I have another one.
It was a quick response. True response at that.
You can have a whole other hotel
Well, you
just with my face
You
on
can't
it.
take the frame, but you can take the pillow.
Was there any completion?
This event is
in the pool?
pretty interesting because it's a bear pool party, and I had never been to anything like this. It was like this mansion, and you go in, and like on the outside, everyone's just like socializing. It's like old gay men, so they're like legitimately just like talking about florals, and then you go into the pool, and like the pool is the orgy, and it's very Hunger Gamesy. It's like in the pool, and no one's even paying attention to all these underwater blowjobs. On the outside is literally just like, oh, wasn't brunch last Thursday, just dandy. And then in the pool is
But if you were to
just
look under the water, it's just UWBJ.
not
City.
even under the water.
Was there completion happening in the pool?
Yes.
So
And
is
what
dick
does
soup, as
that-
Wanda Sykes once
It was
said.
disgusting.
Was it float? Does spunk
Why
float?
are you looking at me?
Whoa, Ashley, calm down. Never seen that anger from you, except for never mind. No, it actually doesn't float if it's inside my asshole.
Okay.
But if it weren't inside your asshole,
No, I didn't get fucked in the pool. I actually have never finished in
Lube
a pool.
is hard in a pool.
Yeah, no, people
Yeah.
were figuring it out though. You know,
Yeah.
we solved that riddle.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Sam. That was graphic and really funny.
Thank you.
Let's go to, now this is the moment I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
This is what I thought would dominate the podcast.
Yeah.
But we don't have a ton of time left.
We don't have a ton of time to talk about it. This is my gayness, my gay adjacency. So I had I was telling
Lucas
Ashley
confided
about this,
gay
but-
thoughts in me the other day at brunch.
So I had some gay thoughts, like probably I want to say now probably about a month ago. And here was the bind I was in. And I can't get too specific about who this
understand.
person was. But basically
Off limits.
there was one man in my life who I've ever met who's gay who made me tingle a little bit.
Oh my God. This is so funny because there's this like, I've been 11. You know, I went
I've
through this
been
so
that-
long
I know
ago.
Like-
Ashley like laughed at me and then I kind of felt bad because I thought I was confiding something
No.
and Ashley was like,
I'm
darling,
saying
you're
it's
nothing.
gonna be hard for me to like. I was commenting on me being an asshole in this situation. What you're doing
I
is
see.
like perfectly.
Well, so what
Oh,
I had said
I'm
to
laughing
her,
because I'm like, do you know how many people I've been that for them?
Oh, we all are on different tough mothers.
all of us are thinking about ourselves. I was like, I'm hurt. You're like, I'm an asshole. And she's like, I'm famous. And we were all lost.
What was famous?
Was
was famous. Was famous.
So here's what happened is, so when I was really high off of an edible, I would feel a little tingly towards men. So one
Men
night,
generally or the one man?
one man, one thought. Yeah. But I think in general, like when I was high,
Who is completely off limits.
so one night I'm very high and I'm like, let me go down this path mentally. Do you know what I mean?
Which
And-
you are very strong to do, Lucas.
Well, first of all, I forget it knocked at the door and I opened the door and I saw it there and I was deciding whether to let it in. And I was like, come on
It
in.
being the gay thoughts.
Yes, it being the gay thoughts. I was like, come on in. Come join me for a little bit. So it joined me, and this is basically the level of vagueness. I said it to
I was
Ashley.
about to be a cunt and be like, say like, oh my, like, just like, of course I've done, but then I realized like, oh, I kept those thoughts inside for a decade, so I can't be the one to be like,
Yeah.
obviously you should confront those, you bigot.
My take on gayness historically in my life has been this. I don't know what level of gay I am. Obviously, it's a spectrum. But because I'm straight enough that I enjoy being straight, I was like, why? Why go there? Why figure any
Sure,
of that out?
yeah.
Right.
What's
if you're
the point?
95% straight,
Yeah,
what's the
I was
point?
just like, I legitimately love women. I love having sex with women. So why figure out if there's a little,
And a lot of men get there and then they get married and then they have a wife for 20 years and then they're 50, they get divorced
Yep.
from that wife and then I have sex with them.
Totally. And I was like,
I'm really looking forward to the future of you two.
I I want to just practice what I preach here, which is like, we're all fluid and we're all open. I was like, so I let the thought in. And Ashley, by the way, I'm telling Ashley this, and she's like looking at me with like the blankest face, as if I'm saying like I was counting sand. And I was like, Ashley, what I'm saying is like, I masturbated to this gay thought. And she was like, I know. And I was like, like, oh, okay. Well, I thought that was a big gay thing.
Literally, as soon as you said that you got high,
Yeah.
I was like, Lucas came to a man. Like
Oh, really?
immediately in my brain. Yeah, of course.
Interesting.
Of course.
So I did this. So then I followed it.
I don't believe that fantasy necessarily represents what you actually want to do.
Well, this is how we got into this whole broader discussion about a whole surplus and a whole shortage. I followed this for probably like 3 or 4 days about a month ago. And then kind of as quickly as it had come into my head, it just sort of vanished. Like I've tried to get back there. Not tried intensely hard, but I've kind of walked down that road again, looking for the shadows that I once found on that road. And the light
like
is
the
different.
Green Day song.
Yeah, like I think my gayness is like a plant that I had to water, and I watered it for a couple days and it started to grow, and then I kind of forgot to water it for a little bit because I was on the road. I'm going to Tempe, and I had Tempe
Going
shows.
eye to Tempe, he is.
Going eye maybe to Tempe after this podcast has recorded or before, and and I forgot to water it, and then I came back to it, and the plant had like sort of died, and that.
So what you're saying is gay conversion camps can work.
But I was like, I had this guy. I was like, maybe would I ever fuck this one guy? But then I was like, ugh, I don't want. Here's the problem: you got 2 dicks Got 2 guys, 2 dicks, 4 holes. Yeah?
You know about this.
No.
Hole 1, mouth hole. Hole 2, butthole.
Oh, I thought it was
Hole
an actual
3,
thing.
mouth hole. Hole 4, butthole.
Yes. And I was like,
Honestly, the numbers
Ashley was
don't
like,
matter.
Ashley was like, you could hook up with a guy and you don't have to put. I was like, I don't want anything going in any holes. I'm scared of that. And Ashley was like, well, you could hook up with a guy and you don't have to put anything in any holes. And I was like, I have a dick. Dicks find holes. You got 2 dicks. You got 4 holes. You got a hole surplus. In a free market society, no dicks are going on
I've
hold.
been saying that.
You
Preach,
are
sister.
supply and demand. You have
Yes.
more supply than you have demand. All of that demand will be satisfied. And so
And
that
that's
was
why
my
tops are so important to the community, you know?
Yeah.
Because of supply and demand. That's why that was actually that was an underrated riff.
No, that was really good. Tops are super
Yeah.
important in the
They're
lesbian.
much like Goodyear, tops supply a
And
function for the
lesbians,
free market.
we're working with Bitcoin. We're on a whole other level.
yeah.
Our currency is actually digital. It's not even. It's not
Yeah.
even the same.
Without tops, the gay community
Digital
just really
currency.
devolves
digital
into
currency. Digital currency. This deserves more. Digital currency.
Oh, digital
Digital currency.
Oh, yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I didn't. I also didn't
I didn't
understand.
get that.
I
It
feel
took
like
me a
we're
second.
all really in our own heads here.
Well, I was certainly in my own head because this is like, I said this to Ashley as though we're some kind of big admission, and Ashley was like, didn't give a fuck.
I was so supportive.
Ashley said all queer people should die, and now you're part of that.
Yeah.
Lucas, can I explain my reaction?
Yes.
When someone tells me their gay thoughts,
Ashley's like, I know.
I am cool as a fucking cucumber.
Yes.
I am not going to influence this person's decision making.
Yes.
I'm going to hear them. I'm going to validate them. I'm going to treat it as real
Yeah.
We have different strategies.
because I am never going to push someone to do something sexually that maybe they're not ready to do. I'm
So-
there to
so-
listen. I'm there to make them feel
Yeah,
heard.
but when my friend's definitely gay and it's from like an identity perspective, I'm like, you're gay. Let's be gay. Let's go do gay things. I'm going to make you gay.
Sure. And that's part of the agenda.
Lucas
And that's why
Zelnick.
Republicans hate us.
Well, the weirdest part about all this is then the girl I was hooking up with asked me if I'd ever hook up with a guy, and I told her this whole thing. I was like, well, I've had thoughts about it. I don't think I would really want to do it now, but I think life is long. I don't know that I would necessarily root it out. I was like, I know for a fact I'm not 100% straight. And she was like, God, it's so refreshing to hear you just not say that you're like bi. Because she goes, every boy in Brooklyn tries to fucking queer bait their way into getting pussy by saying they're like so fully bi.
That's so funny
And
that
she's
they're
like, it's-
pretending to be gay to get pussy.
Yeah, she was like, it's so nice to hear you say you're mostly not gay. Because she was like, because I bet you, and I bet you a lot of your listeners will similarly be like, oh, so what's this headline? That like a guy that previously pretended to be 100% straight is 99% straight. Meanwhile, every guy in the she-they pussy market, weird little guys as we call them.
I will say, our listeners are from all over the fucking world.
Yeah.
This is true here in Bushwick,
Yeah.
in Iowa, in Ohio. No.
Yeah.
Iowa.
Well, I don't think Iowa is a real place. It's more of an idea. But I get what you're saying. You're using it as a metaphor.
Yeah.
The idea of Iowa.
Iowa is a sort of corn country, middle of the road, great American concept
Yes.
that is not real.
And that's my gay sex, by the way. I guess, right?
Oh,
What
wait.
we need to do is listener write in.
Wait, what's the climax? What's the, sorry, you don't have to have, of course not. I was waiting for,
What's
and then
the
he
cum
fucks
in
me.
the pool?
Is there-
Did the cum float?
The UWBJ Association has now announced that I am officially gay. No, the climax isn't really thank you. The climax is Ashley and I talked about this, and then I failed to water and nourish these gay thoughts.
I suggested that he fuck this person who's off limits.
Have you experimented with this person at all?
No. This person is out.
Okay, have you
He
experimented
has a
with any person?
stronger moral code than I do.
The problem is
You shouldn't say that out loud, sweetie.
The problem is like I haven't come across any man on the street in passing in interpersonal situations that tingle has just come to me. Like if you asked me to sit down and be like, push comes to shove, could I get this going?
Well, yeah, and you should. You know why? Because every single gay man has done that with a woman. Like I forced myself to have sex with a woman because I wanted to be straight so bad.
Yeah.
Wow, what a thoughtful little piece of revenge you just suggested.
Take it for me.
Well, I was talking about this with Jamie, and then some girl was like, "You and Jamie should kiss," and I was like, "No, I don't want to kiss Jamie." And then Jamie kept being like, "Come on, let's just kiss," and I was like, "I legit don't want to kiss you. I'm sorry."
Yeah, but what I'm saying is suck it up, pussy.
I think I could suck it up really has two meanings here. Suck it up and suck it up.
Bro, how do you
Suck it in, really.
Bro, I feel like if you don't do it, that's actually kind of gay. Because like, how straight are you? You got to put it to the test.
I just think right now, life is so long, but right now
I've kissed a boy, you have to kiss a boy. I've kissed a boy, you have to
you've
kiss a boy.
kissed a boy
One boy
with a tongue.
with a tongue.
When?
About 23 years ago.
I was 7. It was traumatizing.
Here's my problem with kissing men is I don't
You
even want
kissed me. That was the bet.
That way,
yeah.
I just got it.
Yeah. You guys suck.
I was like, you were molested? I was like, Sam, can we talk about your molestation later? Anyway, Ashley, what were you saying?
Sam, are you okay? I kissed a boy,
I
you have
don't
to kiss
even
a
want
boy.
to share a drink with a boy. Boys are gross.
You
This is
should
the
have to kiss the
problem.
same boy that I kissed.
Men are disgusting. Yeah, that's a good idea. Who is the boy?
His name's Tim.
Where is he now?
I think upstate New York.
Did you go to New York City private school with him?
No.
Oh, so he doesn't even come from a good family.
No. He does not.
How's he supposed to take care of me?
I would kiss him, but he's a Montague. Can you explain your type?
I think it's a boyfriend twin. That's probably my type.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, so
I don't,
But Jamie.
Wait,
doesn't do it for me.
here's the thing, and I know we're being funny and like toxic
Yeah.
and like you should have gay sex and you
Yeah.
clearly don't want to. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But there is, however,
Not in this
my
case, it doesn't
fingers
seem-
feel like women. No, no, but you are so not my type. But
I know.
like I do feel like kissing is like pretty harmless.
Yeah.
Like to try it out. Like I make out with women as a joke all
Yeah.
the time.
Right.
It's hilarious, by the way. It's a
No,
great bet.
I'm not sitting here saying no. I'm saying the only difference between making out with women as a joke and making out with men as a joke is women aren't gross.
Yeah, I know.
Men
I see
are
that. I see that.
stinky and greasy and hairy and dirty. And women, it's like, yeah, women are just so smooth and soft,
Floral.
floral.
Do you think if we made
Safe?
out, it would test whether or not you're gay?
That should be the ending of the episode, right there. That's like a perfect callback.
Listeners, subscribe to the Patreon for more.
You have to leave. You're going to get in trouble.
I have to go. I'm already in trouble. LucasZelnick.com for all my tour dates. Thank you for having me.
Sam, what do you want to plug? Butt plugs.
Oh my God! Actually, can I go to my website and just list
just
dates
list
real
them.
quick? Coming up, I'm coming to Austin, Texas, October 13th and 14th. I'm going to the UK. I'm going to London. You have London fans, right? I'm actually so excited. I'm doing the main stage at Soho Theatre. And the last time I went to London, tickets sold out really quickly. So go check that out. I would really love that because I think I'm going to have some big, scary reviewers there. And I'm also doing like a UK tour of the country. So I'm going to Cardiff. I'm going to Manchester, Norwich, and Brighton. Then I'm doing Denver, Portland, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Raleigh, North Carolina, San Francisco, Indianapolis, Fort Lauderdale. Go to my website. You get it.
Thanks for listening, guys. Patreon.com/WHGS to support the pod. You can donate as little as $1. It really helps. It helps a lot, and we really deeply appreciate it. And did you know that you get 4 bonus episodes per month by donating? All kinds of perks. Live streams of my shows. It pays Alex. It pays the whole squad. Maddie, everybody, Bree. So go ahead and give it a try. And a gay thought this week. Over the past few months, so many of you have written to me knowing that you didn't know the full story, but believing there were things that were left unsaid and writing letters of support to me and sticking around and coming to shows. And not many comedians are in the position that I'm in. And I'm trying my best. And I think a lot of you see that. And you've written some really kind things to me. And for those of you who feel like you know me and know my values and my heart, I just want to say thank you for those notes. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for assuming the good. My goal was never to be like a gay content creator. My goal was to be a comedian. But the thing that I do love about this podcast is our Discord. And I love hearing stories about, there's a story about a German listener, I think, who had it on while she was cleaning up the coffee shop or restaurant that she worked in. Someone came in at the end of the day and heard it on, and they both were like, oh, that the person was like, oh, is that we're having gay sex? And they became friends. And I love, having Sunday school as this queer space for people to meet each other. That is a part of this that I can't deny is deeply moving. And I don't know of another comedian that has it in such a tangible way, because it is linked to the queer community. And that is where most of my grief around this cancellation comes from. Not my safety or thinking about my employees and stuff like that. But no offense, Alex. But really thinking about this being an opportunity for people to feel connected. And when I saw that was breaking apart and continues to, I'm grieving that. So a lot of people have been like, isn't it kind of over? All the hate online and stuff. And like, yeah, it is. But what hasn't been resurrected is the community. And I'm missing that. And I hope we can get it back. And if you've stayed, thank you. And thank you to our moderator on the Discord, Abby, and everybody and Jess for the many years that she was doing that. And everybody who's kind of active there and makes it a really fun place to be. I'm obviously just word vomiting right now, but it's really special. And I hope we can continue to make it special. All right. Thanks. Have a good week.